Hello again, you're watching the Midday View on eNCA. One of the court stories that we're following for you this afternoon here on eNCA involves the former Mpumalanga MEC, Mr. Msibi. He and his co-accused have been granted 20,000 rand bail. Lindokuhle Xulu is tracking that story for us, joining us now live for the latest. Lindo, good afternoon. Msibi is out on bail. What are some of his bail conditions? I understand the magistrate believes that he and the co-accused are not flight risks. What conditions have been set?
Good afternoon, Praden. Well, the conditions are simple. They are not to interfere with the case. They are not to interact anyhow with some of the witnesses of the state that we understand are in police custody. They are also not to leave the province of Mpumalanga without the investigating officer's approval. So those are some of the conditions that had been set for them. But one of the conditions that was not set was them addressing people. And that's exactly what Msibi did outside court today. He was speaking about how he has since accepted some of the things that happened while he was inside court. We'll touch on that a bit later. But more so, he was speaking about some of the allegations around them being targeted in terms of politically so, as well as his life. It does say that in the executive committee of the province, there are some of the MECs that had shown some signs of not wanting them in that particular executive committee. He says that several MECs had called his protectors, had called some people to ask about his arrest way before he was arrested, to also ask about his whereabouts, which is something that is not allowed from his protectors. So he's speaking about some of these allegations, saying that at the end of the day, he knew that this was coming. He's just glad and fortunate that it wasn't his life that was claimed. He says that a hit was put on his life, as far as he understands, to say that police will be coming looking for him. And if his car were to speed off while they look for him, they would then shoot at the car. So he's speaking about a lot of allegations around the fact that this was simply a culmination of many things that had happened before. But he's speaking about the fact that he wants a meeting with the National Executive Office of the ANC, the office bearers, including Fikile Mbalula, including the president himself, to table exactly some of the things he said. He did not mention the names in terms of the MECs, but he spoke about how there are a lot of people that had vested interest in his whereabouts, that had vested interest in taking his life, and he wants to put this to the ANC in terms of its office bearers in the highest office there by Lutuli House, to say that these are some of the things they are dealing with that are influenced by politics in the province of Mpumalanga.
Okay, what did he tell some of the supporters that he spoke to afterwards, outside court?
Well, he continued with his denial in terms of the allegations leveled against him. He says that on that fateful night, he was in fact going to get meat, as he said in court through his statement. He did elaborate further, speaking about how he had ordered chili wors, as well as plain wors, as well as other meat for some of the volunteers of the ANC that were there on that fateful night. That day, we understand, was a day where there was a finalization of the candidate list for the Mpumalanga province that was happening in a venue in Notting House. So he left to get some of the PEC members food because they had been sent to get food. But one of the things that he also said, which was something he began by saying, is that he wants to make it clear that he accepts the fact that he was told to step aside from his position in the Provincial Executive Council of Mpumalanga in the ANC. But he also said that with a pinch of salt, he's also accepting the fact that he was told to step aside as a member of the Executive Council, the MEC of Agriculture. I think maybe we should let the man speak for himself. Let's take a listen to a soundbite that we've prepared in terms of what he said outside court here.
The decision of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC for me to step aside is accepted unconditional. So my election. Let's go back to work for the ANC. The decision by the Honorable Premier of the province to whether you can want to define it in English to dismiss me is accepted. But I'm going to speak about that decision, the abuse of state power. I'm going to speak here today about it. This decision must not frighten you because it took too long. I'm going to give an account on this thing so that at the end of the day you understand. I'm going to request Comrade Lindy to request a meeting with the officials of the ANC nationally so that I explain to them count for count.
Okay, Mandla Msibi there speaking outside court. Lindokuhle, before we end this crossing with you now there in Mbombela, just very briefly, two things. One, let's just remind our viewers, what are these charges exactly that Mr. Msibi and the two co-accused are facing, and then what's next in this case?
Well, they are facing charges, 2 counts of murder as well as an attempted murder charge. And I can tell you that they are believed to have been involved in a shooting that happened in a famous venue here, a pub in Shisanyama that is called Coyotes in Nelspruit. They are placed by eyewitnesses, and according to the investigating officer, CCTV footage that shows some of the suspects unleashing fire on a certain vehicle. But let's speak about what is said to happen, and they've since denied that, of course. But what's to happen is that the case has been postponed to the 6th of December. We understand that is because of further investigations that are still happening on the case. But there is one key thing that Mandla Msibi alluded while addressing those people outside. He said that that case might not even reach that stage because they have some piece of evidence. We understand this is pertaining the CCTV footage of inside that Shisanyama that they have and they'll be using to basically get rid of this case.
Thank you very much, Lindokuhle Xulu there in Mbombela, and giving us the latest in that case of Mandla Msibi.